Yo, what is going on, everybody? Your boy Daddy D here again, bringing you some footage of my ranked gameplays online. Today I'm going to break it down a little bit for you guys on the basis of how to determine whether you guys are beginners, intermediate, or pro players. Now, take into account, I mean, everybody has their own, suggestions, thoughts, and whatnot on the subject. Everybody can determine whether they are with my data or not. It's a very arguable subject. Everybody has their own opinion. Please keep it to yourself. I talked to a couple pro players, actually, two of them being Little Twan, aka Little Twat 69, and Heseo Rampage. If you guys know any of them, which you guys should, if you guys are good, you guys play rank, you guys should know those two specific players. Really experienced players in the game of Storm 2 and Generations all by himself. And so I got to sit down with them, got a little Q&A as far as what they think on top of my personal opinions on it. So here we go. I'm going to start off with beginner. Okay, and like I said, this is solely to help out everybody who doesn't know their position, everybody who needs training, because I'm getting a lot of messages on people wanting me to train them in the game, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? This will personally help you guys out and figure out on your own without needing any training from people that play this game a lot more than other people. Let's see here. Okay, so let's start it off right off the bat is beginners. What I'm going to do is break it down for you and tell you guys, if somebody like me or somebody like the other pro players go into a match, or anybody for the fact, go into a match, and then we, without seeing the record all on its own, seeing the score, the name, anybody, how we could be able to give or tell what type of player they are, and stuff that you guys could work on. So here we go. Beginner, right off the bat, most beginners, which you notice, use actual teams. Now, it could be arguable as far as, beginners and pros, because, some people do that as well. But you could tell right off the bat the beginners use actual stock teams that come with either, balance or 2 guard or whatnot, that whole setup. They don't pick their actual attack or balance or guard. They just pick the actual team. That's kind of a first giveaway on some points. Like I said, that one specifically could be arguable. The second one is they throw out both supports at the beginning of the match. You guys start the match, you guys hear that whole thing, whatever that Chinese guy says, and then they throw out both supports and maybe even do a jutsu at the beginning of the match. That is another kind of, give or tell on that one. The second one is random jutsus and random ultimates, ones that aren't really going to hit. It's kind of a little weird, but a lot of people do it with Guy and Lee. It's kind of weird. They do it more with Guy and Lee than any other character in the whole game, which is ironic. But okay, just going off and do it again. Actual teams that nobody with an actual record would pick, like Zabuza or Haku, or Naruto with his actual whatever stock team that he comes with, them both balanced. They throw out both supports at the beginning of the match, or they even do it at the same time. Like, what I'm saying? Like, even if they're not both supports that would maybe even hit them at the same time, one short range and one long range, they'll still throw them out at the same time if they have them. Random jutsus and ultimates, like I said, just restating shit for you guys, and they waste their subs literally within seconds of the first match. So that altogether is a beginner player. So if you guys do any of those at all, then I'm sorry, but you guys are a beginner player. And this is not to hate or not to downgrade anybody. This is to solely help you guys out and to know what's wrong and how to correct it and get a little better at the game. Let's go on to intermediate players. Okay, so intermediate players, solely from what, like I said, me and really high-ranked top players both evaluated this. They rely on supports like Pain and Tsunade, with random teams like PTS Neji and maybe Sakura, or maybe anybody that doesn't even go remotely with Tsunade or Pain, which 90% of nobody does, but they pick Pain anyways, is they rely on Pain and Tsunade. They try to rely on comfortable supports for whatever they're going for. Let's see here. They know a little bit on how to play as far as the subs go, chakra dashing, and how to use different supports, but they don't know too much yet. They use a little bit of different supports that they throw in there, so they never really use a stock team. Like I said, beginners do. They never really use them. They always throw in different supports that maybe might help them out in their situation. Even random supports that you don't even know that would work with them, they throw in there because either they like them or they're cool or what other reason. Intermediate players do not know combos to ultimates. Most of them do not know any combos to ultimates at all, or the true potential of a specific character. They pick a character either because they like them, or they pick the character specifically because they think it might actually be quicker to win the game. They might be better, what have you. But they just, bottom line is they don't know the combos to ultimates, and they don't know the true potential of a character. Intermediate players also rely on sub fights. Now, sub fights, listen to me, guys. Sub fights is where you go in for the combo and you chakra dash at them, start comboing. You sub chakra dash to see who the winner of the sub fight is. That's what I call it, a sub fight. They rely on sub fights, and they rely specifically on chakra dashes to win the game. Like, they think the fastest character mixed up with OP supports would win any game. That's pretty much similar to intermediate players. Not necessarily everybody uses OP supports, but they definitely tend to use more supports that they feel they could win with. Pretty much what it comes down to. And then throw out supports at random times. For intermediate players and beginner players, they throw out supports when they're halfway across the field just to do it. Sometimes the support won't even reach that far, but they will throw them out because they think it's going to protect them in some way. They try to predict, I don't know. But I've noticed that. Okay, now going on to more experienced players. Here this is. So hopefully you guys listen to this and maybe jot some of the notes down on how, if anybody complains about the game being so broken because you lose and all this other whiny crap about the game. I mean, this is what you guys really need to know, and break it down so you guys can get better at the game, and then stop complaining, because 90% of the people that play this game probably don't like it. They know it's broken. They know there's so much shit wrong with it. But please, if you're going to continue to get on the game and play it, have the decency to just stop saying CC2 made a broken game, because we all know it just does not need to be said every time in every tourney in every single chat room. Thank you very much. Going on to pro players. This is what we've come up with precisely. Both of them being very experienced players. This is what we both come up with, all of us. We know pro players know exactly what they're doing in a game. They know exactly what they're doing. They definitely put on the pressure. The pressure is what you need to have in this game. It needs to be in any fighting game. You need to be smart, and you need to put on the pressure. Okay, especially in a game like this. So let's see here. It doesn't work. It's a strategy that would work for most people. It just depends on the person and how they feel comfortable with playing. Let's see here. They pretty much own the match. Like, they start the match knowing they're pretty much going to win. They got a lot of confidence in the match. They're not really overthinking anything. They're not really, evaluating a lot of the stuff that goes on. They just know what to do by now because they've had so much experience doing it. They only throw out their supports when they're needed. Specifically, when their supports are needed, or when they know they need their supports, is what it comes down to. Like, with me, when I would throw out Choji, is I know I would land specifically in front of the character, and I have to tip them to throw out Choji. A lot of people agree with this. Choji's a really, really good support that brings the pressure, that brings aggression to the game, because he sticks you there, and he has a lot of open abilities as a support type. Similar to that, they plant setups. A lot of experienced players plant setups. They only give you, they put out their supports, they do these certain combos, and they put you in a situation where you have to only make one or two choices, and they do have the result. They have the answer to both choices pretty much as to where you could do. They limit you to what you could do because they know they're going to control the match, pretty much what it comes down to. And they plant certain setups. Like if you were to rush and throw out Choji and stick there, you're planning a setup for either a grab, a guard break, or a continuous combo when they either sub it, land behind you, or they sit there and take it. So they plant setups with their supports and with their strategy. Pro/experienced players throw Shuriken. It's a smart choice. And it's not just throwing random Shuriken or just doing it like throwing hella Shuriken to know your opponent on the other side. No, it is throwing it at times that count and at times that trick players, which leads me into the next little dashboard as far as experienced players go. They know exactly what supports work for them and their specific strategy. Okay, so they don't just pick supports just to use them. They pick specific supports that work with their strategy. And if they do pick a stock team, they use their supports for a certain situation. Okay, excuse me, going on. Let's see here. They always pick supports for the most part when it's a ranked match or when it's a serious match. They put supports that keep you on the edge. A lot of people tend to use Killer Bee. They tend to use Onko, which, you know, is technically, everybody would agree, is a heat-on, but it just looks better on the team. Like, a lot of people think, like, it's like, really, you're going to use Onko and Pain, but at the same time, it's like, dude, you might as well pick heat-on and Pain. I mean, there's no real difference. Let's see here. Supports that keep you on the edge, similar to Choji. Let's see, you're working with Pain would keep you on the edge because all you would have to do, which everybody does in the game, is tip you and throw out Pain. I mean, that's literally the main reason anybody ever has him, to tip and throw out Pain. Supports that keep you on the edge. I can tell you others, but if you guys know them, you guys can go for it. If not, then you guys are just going to have to experiment and figure it out. You guys obviously don't play the game if you don't know. Let's see here. Sometimes pick teams with names. Like I was saying earlier, they pick actual teams because they know they're good enough to be able to use them and be good with them. So that goes into another whole setup, is if you can see the match right now, which would be Monster Fox, an actual team. You know, a lot of people use different supports with Itachi, and, you know, being able to use supports that sometimes aren't that effective in certain situations or sometimes won't win you the match, but they can, you know, it could be good to say, you know, I beat you with the stock team. Like, what do you have nothing to say about it, pretty much. And you just get a little bit more respect than beating them with other, other supports. But then again, it varies. Like I said, it varies. So, you know, I pretty much leveled it down. You got your beginners and what they do. You know, what you guys can get yourself into as beginners and how people can know that are more experienced that you are a beginner. We know intermediate players, how they play, and certain stuff around that. And then more experienced players / pro players that play the game and how they play it. If you guys have any other things, please leave a comment. Let me know. But it has to be really good, guys. It has to be good. Because, I mean, we've pretty much covered it, you know, as far as what you guys got to do. But another thing I wanted to add in is more experienced players are really, really good at reading other players. This is a game. We all know that. This is a game. So you got to treat it kind of like a mind game. Like, you know what the main strategy of what another opponent can do. You know the only potential. Really, I mean, a guy that picks a certain team can only do so much. You know, a specific player. You know their combos. You know the game pretty much, and you got to treat it like a game, like kind of like a mind game. Like, you got to start predicting other opponents' strategies. You got to know if somebody's gonna rush you. Just press literally either chakra dash at them. Like, a lot of people do that. Like, they kind of they predict an opponent rushing them, so they chakra air dash at them right before it and just kind of cancel it out so they don't get the combo on you. It comes down to a lot of more experienced players, which I've been trying to do lately, is read other players. And if you can read other players very well as far as what they're going to do and what they can do or their options, and then have an answer for it, you guys can be the best players in the whole game. Because singles, you can only do so much in singles. I'm sorry. Everybody loves singles. I hate singles. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, true skill lies in singles, all that stuff. I mean, if that's what you guys understand, then, you know, it's cool. But I'm just saying, it comes down to the people that win the game. It's not the people that have the fastest chakra dash. It's not the people that that, okay, well, this guy's going to rush me, so I'm just going to press X and then chakra air dash at him first so I catch him. No, it's about reading other players and knowing what they can do. I mean, that's all I can really say. If you can become good at reading other players, if you guys have your note, it has to go break down to like technical shit too. Like, do you know how to do a full combo? Do you know how to do a half combo, a ninja dash, throw some shuriken, make them waste subs? Oh, another thing is, as far as experienced players go, they chakra air dash at you. They play tricks. Like a lot of experienced players play tricks to make you waste subs. Like, it doesn't come down to sub fights anymore. Any experienced player, I'm sorry, if you're experienced and have a good record and you play and get a lot of respect, nobody ever relies on just pure chakra dashing anymore. Like sub fights. Nobody ever does that. If you think you're good and you want respect, sub fights, not the way to go about it. Think you can chakra dash the whole match and win it is not the way. You got to play smart. If you want to be good at this game, guys, you have to play smart. You can't rush in there. If you know you're a slower character, you can't rush in there and sub fight. You got to play smart. You got to have tricks up your sleeve of what you can do. You get a kickback, you throw a shuriken and they sub it. I'm sorry. You just wasted their sub and you are officially a little bit smarter than them. How dumb are you if you sub shuriken? I'm sorry. Really? How are you that anxious to get the combo? That anxious to get the combo and you just waste your last sub? I did it. I know I did. I know hell of people that do it. But literally, guys, make it an effort to not sub shuriken. You make it so easy for players like me to beat you because you sub shuriken. I'm not going to lie. I've done it a couple times, and I probably still will do it. It just depends on the situation. But please, guys, be a little smarter than that, especially if you know you're decent at this game and you fight a player that's a little bit better than you. They're going to throw shuriken when you get a kickback. They're going to rush you. They're going to throw shuriken. They're going to make you... We have tricks. People that play this game, that figured it out, that are a little smarter in video games, we've come out with tricks to beat other players that are just my rank. I mean, we just got to be the top dog, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just got to be smarter than the average player. We got to be smarter than a player that's just as smart as us, because that's the only way we're going to win the game. So it all comes down to, you know, just what you guys can come up with, really. I mean, there are still tricks. You know, as far as I was concerned back in the day when I was winning and I had all of you subscribers out there and I was playing Japanese people all over the world, I thought I was good because I just chakra dashed and I like sub fought everybody and nobody can beat me. I was like, dude, I'm invincible because I'm super fast. That's all it really comes down to. It's like kind of the street fighting. It's like a Street Fighter mixed with Naruto. Like, all you do is combos now all of a sudden. That's new. I'm the fastest guy and I do the most damage. Who can beat me? And nobody did. I had wins over losses like crazy. And now it's just like, now that people are catching on to that and I'm not using that fast character anymore, you know, it comes down to playing smart. You know what I mean? You can't always go in there, rush, chakra dash, do all this crap. Like, you gotta throw shuriken, you gotta like do everything. You gotta do tilt, cancel. You have to do everything, you know, in your ability to outsmart the other opponent in the game. You know, and that's what it comes down to, is outsmarting them. So, I mean, that's it. That's pretty much all I got, you know what I mean? Like, I told you guys everything. You have a lot of stuff at your disposal now, from anybody to beginner people that just started to more experienced players. So, hope you guys enjoy it. I would be making my next video, and a lot of the fights I'm going to put on there are really good. It's going to be the rebirth of Baby Lee, because I am in a couple of Generation's top best players. I am in a couple of them, and every single one, they have a picture of me using Kid Lee. So, considering I haven't used him in a month, I'm going to bring him back. And it's funny, is I brought him back earlier today, and I got 5 disconnections out of 7 fights. So I'm still debating whether I should bring him back. Let me know. Until then, peace out. I'll see you.